If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Alright, so if we have to navigate to create a Visualforce page, so we are creating a Visualforce page, you need to go to Setup and then Develop, and there you can find Visualforce page. Let's have a look at that. So if you go here, it's Setup, scroll down, you'll find Develop, and below that you will find here Visualforce pages. So we'll start creating our Visualforce pages from here. There are a couple of Visualforce pages you can find here because if you remember, if you have gone through the last day's video, it included the creation of an App Exchange package in our system. So here basically we have created an App Exchange package that is created here, and these pages belong to that. Now, just that I had told you earlier as well that these packages are having this namespace. If you want to create your own page here, so you can write something like my VF pages, and you can add a criteria that to these VF pages you can add something like name equals, or you can write does not contain the name of the package. You can write the name of the package that was there. Let me get that again. This one. So this is the namespace prefix, or you can add a condition like where namespace prefix equals this, or you can write not equal to this. So it will contain all those Visualforce pages which will not have that package. If you want to view all the pages, you can create here one more view. You can write here all without any condition, and you can save it. So now this is your field over here. Now, while you have to navigate to your pages, you can create one for yourself. You can write new, and you can start creating your Visualforce page from here. Now, if you carefully look at the page, it has got several fields. This includes a label, name, description. Now let's have a look at this. So label means the name of the page that will be visible in the UI. Then you have name. Now name is something that belongs to the API name. So if we have something for the developer, that's called API name. You have something called description that you often add to explain it later to the user that how that particular page should be used. And then you have something that would should this page be available for Salesforce mobile app and Lightning pages. If you check this checkbox, then and only then it will be available as mobile apps in your mobile apps or in Lightning pages. If you want to enable CSRF protection, that's cross-site reference protection, then you can check this checkbox. Otherwise, you can ignore this. Now for here, what we are interested in is adding a name. So this is my first VF page. So I'll write first page. Please notice that this is an API name, so should not have any space in between. Once done, if you click on quick save, it will save and stay onto the page itself. While if you do a save, the page will save and it will close itself. That's the sole difference between the two. And the moment you click on this button preview, it will take you to the preview for the page that is given over here. So this is the preview. There was only one line of code, and that's what exactly got reflected. Now here we have two more buttons. That's where it is used, and show dependencies. Like if I'm making use of a Visualforce page in my buttons, I can see that. Or if I'm making use of it in some some layout, I can even see that. If there are any dependencies, like if I'm referring to some object that is having dependency on the page, that will also be reflected in this area. Now once done, I can go to edit, and there is very important something here that's called component reference. Now if you click on the component reference, it pops out a video, a page for you. Now with this page, there are various components that are listed on the left hand side. It's having a scroll. So please notice there are a lot of tags that are listed here, and corresponding to these tabs, if you click any of these, it will take you to the description on the right hand side. Now here you can find what's the description of that particular tab, and at the same time you can find some component details and the usage of it. So a couple of examples are also given for the things. So what you can do is anytime you can copy paste the things and then you can show to the user how it looks like. So based on that, you can make your user have a good view of the things, or if you want to understand some tag, you can always go back and refer to this reference. So this is about the introduction to the page components. Let us now try to understand the Visualforce itself. So if you carefully look at this, you have something called this Visualforce page, and what this page does is it is having two tags over here, apex colon page and apex colon page at the bottom. Now please notice that every page that you have in Salesforce, it should start with apex colon page and should end with a closing brace with apex colon page. This is something which is mandatory. Let me remove all this and let me save it. Anything if you try to save outside this, that won't work. So make sure you always save within this. Now if you remember, I have told you that we can make use of HTML, CSS, all these things in along with the Visualforce page. So these things can also be made use of here. If you want to add a comment, like again, if you remember, I told you that you can have a comment, a single line comment or a multi-line comment. So whenever you want to place a comment, you have to write it in this manner. So the comment should be between angular brackets, exclamation marks, double hyphens, and then you can write your comment. Likewise, even if it is a multi-line comment, you can find that this is a single line comment. If you have to write something which is a multi-line comment, even that also will work in this, like in this manner. If you want to place some HTML text, like you have some data that you want to keep in bold, so you can write B, hello, this is bold data. Likewise, you can close this. This is strongly typed language, so it needs closure of every bracket. If you won't do that, it won't work. So now since you have done this, if you see the preview of it, you'll be able to view the things like that. Moreover, if you write something in multiple lines, line 1, line 2, line 3, ideally you have written it in multiple lines, but if you view the same thing using the preview, you will find that none of these got into multiple lines. The reason being that whatever you wrote, it do not understand a new line by itself. Hitting an enter does not mean a new line. So if you want to enter a new line, you will have to add either Salesforce tags, or you can even make use of HTML break tags over here. Okay. So anything that you want to do that, this is case insensitive. It do not understand anything, like case sensitive things over here. And if you want to keep something in multiple lines, you need to add like this. Even if you want to add some CSS, etc., that too will work here. Now this is one brief example of it. But before we move forward, let me just copy paste this thing. Okay, so before we do anything else, what I want you to do is to create a page like this at your end. Okay, I'll ping this entire thing through the chat window. Just copy paste it at your end and create a page. Once you are done, we will be enabling development mode. Now development mode is what? Development mode. Let's see that. So there is something that is called development mode. Development mode. Now what development mode enables you to do is to view your page and the code at the same time. So if you're modifying something, you want to preview the page as well as the code at the same time, you can do that with the help of development mode. And you can enable this from the user page. Like for example, you want to enable development mode Just a second. Yeah, so you want to enable development mode for this particular page. You can go to setup, you can go to manage users, you can go to user. Now, since you are a user here, you need to go to your page, and in that page, you will find here something that is called development mode. Here, check this checkbox. The moment you will do so and save it, your page is now saved. And after that, if you refresh your page, now once you have refreshed your page, you'll find something like this at the bottom, this bar kind of thing. Let me take the snipping tool. So if you go ahead and if you snip this area, so let me add it here so that you can view that. Right, so once you have done this, and if you try to expand this area, you will find here that the code that you wrote, that is available. If you're modifying something to the code modified, even that too will be reflected. Right, you need not move back and forth between the pages in that case. Right, similarly, if you want to create a new page, ideally how you were creating new page, you were going to set up develop Visualforce page. To enable the development mode, what you did basically was you went to setup, and then you went to manage users, you went to user, to your user or whichever user you want to enable development mode for, and then development mode. You need to enable it. Once it is done, once you have enabled your development mode, thereafter it is ready to use. Now to make use of this, now once the development mode is enabled, you can very easily, very comfortably work with that. But also what you can do is, if you want to add something like, so now after the development mode is enabled, if you want to create new page, you can even create a new page without having without having going to this particular step. Without doing this, you can even create that. For that, what you need to do is, in your Salesforce domain, after that you need to write apex / the name of the page underscore name. So if you do this, even then you will be able to create this page. Let's see how. So let's see how you can do this. To do this, let's go to this thing. Till ap.com, it's the domain. Now after it is done, you can write the name of your page like apex / I can write second page and hit enter. The moment I'll do so, I'll be getting an error like this. Right? Now to this error, I need to click upon the error link which is given below that, and if you click on the link, it will directly generate a new fresh page for you. Please remember that this fresh page that you created, it's actually a Visualforce page, right? So that's what exactly we are doing here. We have created a new page using this new thing and using this developer mode as well. Any questions so far? I request you to please redo this thing at your end as well. I'll give you 2 minutes. Please do this. Let me know if you are not able to do it. There's a question, why is Visualforce page used? If you remember, while I explained MVC architecture, I said V stands for view. One way is you do this through drag and drop. The second way is you don't do this through drag and drop and rather code for it. Whenever there is complicated thing that is required, you go ahead and you code for it. So in this case, we are actually coding to understand how you can design a UI using Visualforce pages. Then there is another question. We are doing this in the same app we installed. No, not like that. Visualforce pages are generic. The app that you installed, that was one thing. You have to explore that on your own. And the second thing that we are doing is we are trying to understand how your Visualforce pages can be designed to create UI, which are more advanced in terms of for the requirements that cannot be fulfilled using drag and drop, that you can fulfill using these front-end tools. So you can design a better UI with the help of this. Is this thing clear so far? Please try to enable the development mode in your case and let me know if you're able to do that and also if you're not. Questions, anyone? Are you able to do this? Please ping me yes or no. If you're not able to do this, I can explain again. Yeah, so now you click on the error page just below that. Error link below that. You can see there is this, you'll get this sort of snapshot. No, not needed. This page requires the CSRF confirmation token. This is not needed. Confirmation token is not needed. You need to write this URL, domain / whatever is domain, like it is ab2.com, and then / and then / and then name of that /apex / name of the page. Once you click on that page, a new page will open up. You need to click on the link once the error is given. So it's not basically an error. You have to click on the line which is there which says create page, second page. You need to click on that and it will create a new page for you. Okay. Anyone who has not completed it so far? Anyone? You're on BF page. You created the page. Is this bar visible to you at the bottom? Okay, this kind of bar visible to you at your page. So if it is visible, you can find an upward arrow like this on the right hand side, on extreme right hand side corner. If you click on that, it will expand a short video for a short page for you that has got the code. Just check if you're able to get that like this. Just a second. So if you go here, this is my page. If you click on that, it will open up or close based upon how you're clicking. Like if you click an upward arrow, it opens up, and if you click on the downward arrow, it closes itself. Is it done, everyone? Okay, so if this is done, let's proceed. I'm creating now a fresh page that I'll call a demo page. So I'll creating apex/demo page. Now while I click on that, it will open this sort of error window for me. I'll click on the link that is given below, and this will open up this page for me. I can start coding right from here. So what I will do is, this time we are going to understand a couple of tabs over here. Like for example, to generate a PDF. So if you want to generate a PDF, how will you do that? For generating a PDF, all that you need to do is to specify an attribute over here that is render as. It says render as, and if you write PDF just like that, it will create the page given to you in form of a PDF. It's as simple as that. If you would have done the same thing in any other language, it would have taken you ages to do that. While here, it's just a matter of seconds. You can generate a PDF just by writing this small piece of code. Let me copy paste this code to the file itself so that you can execute them. So this is added. The second piece of code is about this PDF thing. So I'm just copying paste that same one over here. So this is for if you want to generate a PDF, how can you do that? Likewise, if you want to remove the headers, like you have got here headers. So I want to remove header. So please notice, instead of this render as PDF, I will write show header is equal to false. And if I save this, that's it. The header page itself is removed. That's for removing a header. If I want to remove a header from a VF page, it will remove like that. Likewise, I have something for removing the side window. So if I write it like true, and at the same time I write that sidebar is equal to false, by default it is true, so it will write like this, sidebar. You have to execute them at your end. I'm just telling you about few basic tags so that you can later on reuse them. Right? So this is for removing the sidebar. If you want to keep your sidebar, you need not do anything. But if you want to remove a sidebar, all that you need to do is just click on it like this, and it will work for you. Now once this is done, I want to get them back so I can comfortably remove it, and I can save this thing. And now what we will do is we will create a sort of okay, we'll try to understand how things work with Salesforce when we create it. Like we are going to understand something that is called page block. Okay, so if I have to create a sort of a page block, I can write apex::page block. We want to get a look and feel as that of any other page, and that's what we are doing with the help of this page block. So page block is a tag that can help you achieve a page block within a page, and within this page block I can add apex::. page block section. Now to this page block section, I can add whatever I want to. This is a page block section. Let me capture it. Okay, so this is my page block section. Now, a couple of things about this page block. So while let me save this and let me show you how it looks like. So this is what is added here. Let me add an input to this. Okay, I want to add some header, so I will add like page block title. We have something called title. I want to write details. Okay, I want to write like details. So this is the page block with details, and I have to add here section, and to this section also I want to add a title saying formula. So when I add this and I save, this is how it is reflected, formula. Now to this page block section, I want to add some fields. Let's say, for example, I want to display the date now. So I want to display the date and time now. If you remember the formula fields that we wrote, whenever you create a formula field and if you want to capture the data, you can do that with the help of now. If you notice, this is what we are exactly doing. We are capturing now. So now the data is like this. If I want to get today, you remember now and today, I gave you this thing in assignment as well. So if I want to fetch that data, I can write it within flower braces exclamation mark, and within that I can specify my formula and save it. It will add the date here. Now the things that I have written, that's written in a page block section. But what if I remove this page block section and write it after that? In the page block directly. So what I'm doing is I'm removing this page block section from here and directly writing within the page block itself and saving it. Now if you notice, everything is going in one sentence itself. Let me get it back. And instead of doing this, if I will apply a break here, maybe that would be a better idea, right? Or if I want to make use of paragraph tags, even that I can do. So this is my second paragraph. Similarly, if I want to add other formula functions, like I have several functions where I want to calculate 7 days from now. So formula, now please understand this, that whenever I will write 7 days from today. Now please understand this, that whenever we are calculating any date in Salesforce and adding 7 to that, it's nothing but a calculation that has to take place. Whenever we add something like curly braces, exclamation mark, it means that something has to be executed in between. Now to execute that, we make use of this, right? Likewise, I want to calculate if 1 is greater than 2. Like I want to calculate if 1 is greater than 2. To calculate this thing, again what I need is curly brackets, exclamation mark. Within this I will specify my formula, that is 1 greater than 2. If 1 is greater than 2, then what do I want to do? Like just the way we write formula, I want to return true if it is true, and I want to return false if it is false, which is itself a Boolean value. Now to close this, I've closed the paragraph here, and let's save. Please notice I'll get false. What if instead of writing false, I want to send some message, like I want to say, no, it's not greater. Yes, it is. Yes, I want to say like this. Yes, it is. So it is a text thing that I want to display. For that reason, it has to be enclosed in single quotes. And then likewise for the for the false also. So we'll write no, it is not. I'll write this and I'll save it, and you can notice that the message accordingly is displayed. Likewise, if I want to do the nesting of formulas, like I want to calculate something with the help of dates. For example, I want to get year. Okay, so what I can do, I can add here the expression, I can write here year, and within that year I should specify today. Now once I do that, I can save it. Sorry, I need to add a closing brace. So let's add that and save. So we'll get the year. Now all these functions that are written there in the formula fields, everything can be used over here as well. Likewise, if I want to calculate the day, I can do that as well. So it's second day of the month. If I want to get something like if Salesforce contains sales. So I want to get this, I can write again the same sort of expression. I can write if, and within this I can write contains function. I'm nesting two functions here. Contains is another function, and I have to specify Salesforce, comma, sales. It will return me either true or false. Now if it is true, I should write here something like yes. If it is true, I should return yes, or if it is false, I should return no. I need to close this bracket, so we'll close this here, and then we can go ahead and save it, and it says yes. Now please notice, if I change the case of it and then save, it will return me no, which means that contains function itself, it's a case sensitive thing. Okay, any questions so far, anyone? Let me paste it here. Any questions, anyone? If you want, I'll upload the code. You can have a look and let me know if there's something that's not clear. Let me upload this. So this is day 12. We are learning about VF page basics. And save. So once it is saved, you can have a look. Let me know if there's something that is not clear so far. Because to move ahead, it's very much mandatory for you to understand what we did. If you notice, if you go to the setup, if you open any object here, like this one, and if you open any formula field, like you have here this one, in the text editor formula field that you have, all these functions that are listed, all of them can be utilized here as well. So you can make use of any of these. Like you have here mid, min, month. All of them can even be used. Like let me show you this. So you go back to the formula and you want to calculate minimum of a value. Okay. So you want to calculate the minimum of a value. So to calculate the minimum, again, curly brackets, exclamation mark, and within this you can write minimum of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you need to specify the functions as well. And if you'll save, you will get the minimum of it. Likewise, for the same function, what I'm doing is I'll calculate the maximum. Sorry. So if I want to calculate the maximum of this, you just go over here and calculate the max and save. So maximum here is 5. You just need to understand what function is working, how it is working. If you want to calculate the month, you just write month followed by date within the parameter. Likewise, square root, if you want to get the square root of something, let me go here again. And if I want to calculate the square root, SQRT, and then curly brackets, exclamation mark, SQRT, and let's assume you want to calculate the square root of 100. Just do this and save. So even that will be calculated. Point is that whatever you want to create, whether that is a code or that is a, it's just something that you want to create out of some logical function, all these things are feasible to do using this. Right? Any questions, anyone so far? Okay, so if this is clear, let me explain you a concept of controllers here. If you have understood how we are relating to different things, you can see here. Okay, before we explain controllers, let me show you something from CSS. You remember W3 schools? I had given you the link for this. So if you want to make use of any tutorial from here, this is just to explain, you can try with your own. So you can see here, this is the CSS example that is given. You can try it here. You can copy this entire thing that is written from the style to the style, copy this entirely, create a new page. Let me create it as a Apex, and just I'm writing here inline style sheets. Why inline style sheets? Because CSS can be deployed in two ways, either using inline style sheets or as an external static resource as well. Now that will be an assignment for you. What I'm showing you is inline style sheet. You need to find out how to make use of external style sheets in Salesforce. That's assignment for you. I would request all of you to please post on blog how to upload, how to work using external style sheets. You may say, why would we do that? Because at times we want that code should not be touched. Let me tell you that in brief. Just give me a minute. External style sheets. Okay, example. I'm just giving you an example here. A hint, sort of. You can make use of static resources. That's a hint. You just go back, search for what you need and how you will do that. But yes, static resources will resolve your issue. Okay, now if you go back, I was explaining about the style sheet. Let's create inline style sheets. And if you want to create inline style sheet, just click here. I told you that on every VF page you need to write in between these tags. So we'll wipe out everything, and within that we will add the style sheet code that is there between the styles tag and ending of the style tag. Please remember this, that whenever you write code in Salesforce, you're supposed to write within the style tag if you're writing your CSS code. Now, once you have done this, if you go back to the editor and now if you will try this entire thing over here as well, it will work exactly in the same manner. Just a second. Okay, you need to close it here. So this is a paragraph. Okay, this is my CSS first example. It's in white. Let's change the color to blue. Okay. Light blue background colors is not identified by it. Let's change to something which is identified by Salesforce. Okay, the color itself is not reflecting. Okay, it seems this particular tag is not recognized. So it might be possible. Sometimes certain tags are not recognized by Salesforce, it could happen. But ideally, whenever you will make use of any tag from HTML, most of the time it will be it is something that you can make use of. If by some chance some color or something is not identified by Salesforce, you can always go to this color reference. Here you have some reference colors. Like you have hexadecimal values for the colors over here. So if you want to make use of some color, some hexadecimal color, you can always copy paste and make use of it here. Like you had something called background color. Instead of writing this, you can try using these colors as well. Okay, right now it is not working. Let me remove this. Okay, for now it seems not working. Oh, okay, my mistake. Body tag is itself not there. Let me add the body tag first. So it is body, and let me enclose only the first one in this body tag. Okay. Okay, fine. Seems that the color is this one. This color itself is not reflected. Let me try out for one more time. Otherwise, I'll let you know what is the tag. There is some tag for the black, for the background color as well, which is currently not getting reflected for some reason. Okay, I'll let you know. But we have something to change even the background color. That probably the color itself is not able to reflect here. So let me check with this if this works. Fine. Looks like something wrong with the background color, which is not reflecting. I'll check this and I'll let you know why it is not getting displayed and what can we do to make it work over here. Okay. For now, let's see one more thing. Okay, so this is about inline style sheets. Sometimes the inline style sheets may not be a good idea. In what cases do we have conditions like that? Let's assume that you have an inline style sheet, and this kind of inline style sheet you have written, which is very long, very long, and you can have various scenarios in which this may happen. Like you're having a very long text that you have placed, and this text somehow that does not work for you. For example, whenever there is a style sheet that you have to place on a website. Now, if there is something that has to be there onto the website, of course, if it is for some specific company, they will have their own set of CSS that you need to use. Now, at times, this may not work for you. if you want something like this, if you want something to work for you, still doing the cycling, but this styling, but should not make you think like it's a very huge code that you have written, and it is not all scrambled together. You want to make use of your code that should look neat and clean, so that next time when you want to reuse it, you will be able to do that. So to avoid any issue like that, I mean, to write a neat and clean code and at the same time make use of it time and again, you make use of the external style sheets. Now, one of the major advantages with style sheets is that while you place things in production and all of a sudden you want to manipulate something, you don't need to do it at all the places. Let's say if you have 10 different pages that you're using same styling, you don't need to copy paste the code in all these 10 pages. Rather, you place the style sheet at one static resource and make use of it time and again. Moreover, if you have to modify something tomorrow, you will not have to go to these individual pages to change it. Once you will have modified that in external style sheet, it will be changed at all the places. So things like that, it will simplify your task if you do if you do this way. So it's all up to you. What suits you, what's best for you, you can make use of that. Now on the same lines, if we go back, and if we create a fresh page, let's assume we're creating page block demo. Okay, before we explain that, let me explain you some theoretical things regarding controllers. So this is all about, I mean, certain UI things that we saw. We'll see more of it when we'll proceed ahead. For now, let me add this thing. So even if you want to open a page, you can do it from here. Second page. This is even a certification question that if the development mode is enabled, how will you make use of that? Right? So I want to open inline style sheets. I'll open it from here. I can copy this thing. I can paste it. And this will work for us. Similarly, sorry, Control Z. So this is how you can do the styling thing and all. Thereafter, one important thing that we have is about controllers. Now, controller is a very strong concept in Salesforce. We have understood controllers earlier as well in terms of MVC architecture. Sorry, screen is not moving. Okay, what have you missed mainly? Can you please tell me if this thing, were you able to see this part of the code, paragraph and things? Okay, fine. Then I've just copy pasted, nothing more than that. The screen got frozen for some time. Yeah, so the next thing that I'm explaining is about controllers. Controllers is a very important concept from the perspective that it helps you create a UI. Okay, question. The question that I have given you is that how to make use of external style sheets. That's it. How to make use of external style sheets. That you need to understand. You need to write for certification. Okay, the certification question. Certification question I mentioned is that what is the URL that you need to write to create a new page when you are in development mode? The URL required to create new page while you are in development mode. Okay. So the same one more concept that I'll be explaining with respect to code is the concept of controllers. Now let's first understand what is controller basically. So controller is something that helps you control your UI plus your table, that is your objects. If you want to control your table as well as objects at the same time, this is what will help you. Now, these controllers in Salesforce, these are used to manage your business logic always. So if you want to manage your business logic, you are going to make use of controllers. Now to do this, there are two ways, of course, the same we had looked at earlier as well. So first way is you make use of drag and drop, that is declarative thing. So if you make use of that, you can work with workflows, approval processes, or if you want to work with escalation rules, these are all part of your controllers only. But if you want to make use of code, for coding you can make use of Apex again to write these controllers. In last session we saw how to write a class, how to add controllers to it, how to work with them. Controllers, however, when you associate them with, so now we have seen all these three things discretely, like we saw how UI is working, how object is working, or how controller is working. But how to interrelate all three of them at one place, how to connect all three of them at one place. So if you want to do that, we have some controllers that we can make use of using Apex, and these are about. So one of them is called standard controller. Second one is called extension controller. And the third one is called custom controller. Let us try to understand each one of them again. So while we have these standard controllers, what they do? So we have some standard objects. We have standard objects as well as custom objects. They can work on both. Okay. And what we need to do, we need to remember for now a tag that says Apex::page, and then you can write standard controller. And then you have to specify the name of the object. If it is a standard object, you'll write like this, right? But if it is a custom object, you have to write like Apex::page standard controller is equal to, you'll write finance. Let's assume it's finance object, so I'll write finance__C. This is how you will specify standard controller. Now, while you create standard controller, there are some standard functionality or button that are supported. That also you can make use of. If you have some standard functionality or standard buttons, those are also supported. If you want, you can make use of this. If you make use of extension controllers, so then what happens? All the capabilities of standard controllers can be utilized here. And on the top of it, if you want to override some behavior, you can do that with the help of extension controllers. Like if you want to create a standard controller of case, you can do like this. Standard controller of finance, you can do the same thing. And I told you there are certain standard functions and buttons that are supported. But let's assume you want to override that. Let's say, for example, when you click on the button save, the record is saved. But now you want is that once the record is saved, you should also save the corresponding data with an attachment to some XYZ record. So things like that, where you need some extra functionality, making use of the common standard functionality as well, you make use of extension controllers. Now, how to specify an extension controller? That's also something that you need to remember. It is needed to remember because in examination, you often get a question where they ask like, okay, this is the controller which is given. You need to identify which of them is standard, extension, or custom controller. Such kind of questions are very prominent in both these examinations, specifically in developer examinations. So if you want to add extension, the process is very simple. You just add extension, and here you mention the name of the Apex class. Like, I have something called case Apex, that's the name of my class, so I'll write it like this, and this will be acting like an extension for my present class. It will be acting like an extension controller. Similarly, if I have a custom controller for, I have a controller, standard controller for finance, and if I now want to change it to an extension, I just need to add my extension class here, right? And these extensions, they are written in Apex only. Likewise, we do have custom controllers also. If we have a custom controller and if I want to make use of it, they have to start fetching the value for an object or fields from object directly. So they do not from object using SOSL or SOQL. Okay, you need to do that because they directly cannot work. They do not have any support of these controllers. You'll have to code for everything, and the way you write it, that's something like this. If you have Apex colon page, and if you specify controller is equal to controller class. Now this controller class, again, it will be written in Apex. You will have to write it this way. Only when you write it this way, then only you can go ahead and create a controller for yourself, right? So these are three different types of controllers that can be created. This is all theoretical. As I told you, you need to remember how you write controllers. The initial line that will define if it is a standard controller or an extension controller. So if you want to make use of it, you have to remember these things to start working with. So theoretically, are the things clear so far? Theoretically. So if the things are clear, let me show you this one, the standard controller thing. Okay, let's not do it today, otherwise you will be confused. It will be a lot of things otherwise. So just go through this theoretical concept today. We'll be looking at standard controller tomorrow. I'll explain this to you. Standard controller and extension controller tomorrow. For today, just go through this entire stuff and let me know if there is something that's not clear to you. Right? So any questions, anyone? Anything that's not clear so far? Any questions, anyone? Okay. So let's have a look at something that is called case management process. Have I explained case management process earlier? Have I explained case management process earlier? No, okay. So partly we have done with it actually. Let me take you through this. Let me know if any of these portions are missed. Okay, so we are talking about case management. Now, what is a case? We talked about this earlier as well, that case is nothing but an incident. So it could be a customer query, it could be a query, it could be a complaint, it could be anything, right? So we are talking about case management with respect to all these things. Now, while we move ahead with case management, we need to understand the process of how the cases are created. The first step is case inception, how the cases can be created through various channels in Salesforce. Like there could be email to case, there could be web to case, there could be phone to case. We do have various other mechanisms also, like social media, live agent and whatnot. There are a lot of things. So we will not talk about that for now. We're just concerned about these main points. Now, good enough, we understand these are the case inception mechanism. Once the case is created, we need to take the case through case auto response rules. So let me know if we have done auto response rules. Have we created auto response rules in Salesforce? Have we created auto response rules in Salesforce? No. Okay. So first of all, the moment the case is created, let's first understand the complete flow, and then I'll explain you all these things that are not explained so far. So we have something called case auto response, which means that the moment the case is coming to the system, somebody has to inform the customer that thank you for registering with us, we'll get back to you soon. This is kind of confirmation that your case got registered with us successfully. And this sort of registration, when we do, that's when it is said to be a case auto response rule. Let's see how to do that. So if we go to setup, we go to setup, and here we just search for auto response rules. Okay, we have already created it. Seems many of you have missed previous sessions. So let me explain this briefly. I told you that auto response rules can be created only for two objects, that is for leads and cases. And if you're creating an auto response rule, this means that you're informing someone that the case is getting registered with you. So here we have created one auto response rule that's based upon language. I had given an assignment as well that's based on language related thing. Request you to please go through the previous videos. These are important things that you need to look at. Now, while you're creating a case auto response rule, there are certain entries that are specified. Like if the language on your cases is French, I can add to whom do we need to whom do I need to send and what do I need to inform them. So every time I'm creating a rule, it has to follow this sort of template. Now what is specified in this template? It just specifies the rule order. Like I want the sort rule order 1, 2, 3, which at what number should this rule be fired. I can add a criteria like at what if the language is this, or if I have some other criteria in my system, I need to follow that. Then there is auto response rule on whose name the message should be sent. Like for example, if I want to understand like who should be like if I'm sending an auto response, should it be sent on my behalf or should it be sent on the behalf of the organization? So things like that you can specify it from here. To do this, you need to add your email in organization-wide email addresses that you can configure from email administration. That's on this side. So once you are done with that, you have to add email template. Email template, as we had discussed earlier as well, that email template will contain some fields that will be merged to your data and will help you to send email across. To send some personalized email, you can make use of this. And if you want to copy people in CC or BCC, you can do that. Now, while you create these rule entries, you can add as many rule entries as we want with some specific sort order, which means that the first rule will be created first, second will be done second, third will be done at third. And then you need to activate the process. You can have multiple processes for there in the system, but only one rule will remain active at a time. So choice is all yours. It depends completely on your business scenario, how you want to go for it. So you create rules and activate any one of that which is most relevant to you. That was about auto response rules. After auto response is sent, you do have case assignment rules as well. Basically, case assignment rule is followed. I mean, if you look at the order of execution of this, first of all, case is created, and then case assignment rules are followed. Okay, so if there are assignment rules that are followed first. Now, what about assignment rules? I had also explained this. To go to this area, again, you will have to write here assignment rules. And as you can see, it can only be created for leads and cases. So you go to the assignment rule, and here also only one rule can remain active at a time. Same thing, you will be creating here some criteria on the basis of which the emails will be sent across. Now, what is the task of this assignment rule? It means that it will assign owner to the case. Owner to case. Owner is a person who will be looking after to resolve that case. For that, this owner is done, and this owner, he could be a user or it could even be a queue. Depending upon your condition, you can make use of it. So after assignment rule is done, auto response are fired. You have, if you have any other business rule that would work out, like if you have any workflow or approval process, or if there is some code that is written in Apex, that would all follow up using this business rule. And we also talked about something that is called escalation rule. We have also completed that. What is that escalation rule? That whenever there is an SLA, like if you go here and if you just search here for the SLA, you have escalation rules. So you can create an escalation rule in your system. Steps remain same. You add your rules and then you can add your rule entry. Like if it is rule order 1, and if you want the case to be escalated after 12 hours from now, so you can write that if the case origin equals something like only these cases, for only these cases it is valid which are phone to case, you can add your business hour appropriately, and then you can set what time should it fire and save. And then once it is saved, you need to add to whom should be escalated to. Like I want it to be escalated after 12 hours to some user, like I want it to be escalated to the test user and it should be notified using the sales template. So this is the template, email notification template that will be sent out. And the user, if I want to notify the user or the case owner as well, I can do that. Once done, I can save this. So then the notification for the user will also fire. Let me add this as well. So as a result of it, every time, okay, assignee does not have permission to view cases. Okay, I don't have many users in my system. Let me add it to a queue. So I've added it to queue and save. So you can save it to a user or a queue after some specified period of time, and you can notify them using your emails that this case has come to you and you need to resolve it as much as possible, as easily, as quickly as possible. So this is the concept that is coming from L1, L2, L3 queues, the different sort of queues with different expertise, which makes sure that the cases get resolved on or before time. Right? For that, you have the escalation rule. A case management process is nothing but an entire cycle of this. Case management process ensures that as a user, you are able to fix things and then show to at the end that this is what you did, right? So that's what is about your case management process. I would request all of you to please go back and revisit all those videos that explain this. I have explained about it probably in 8th, 9th and 10th session. So since the attendance was low during those dates, that's why I believe that you had missed those sessions. So please go back, check it. Let me know if there's something that's not clear. we have covered it in those sessions. Okay. All right. Is this thing clear so far? The case management step. Anyone who was there in those sessions when I explained this? Rashminder, yeah, Rashminder, you were there. Thank you. So yes, we had explained this. I want you to please go through those videos. It won't be possible to repeat the things since there are a lot of other topics to cover. So please go through this once. Let me know if it is not clear. I'll re-explain in that case. And also try to complete your workbooks. The recruitment workbook that I gave you last in the second sessions, I believe. So if you go through that, you will find various examples to capture things in that way. So have a look through that. Let me know if there's something which is not clear so that I can explain that once again. Now, once it is done, let's move to the next thing. Now, this was about case management process. And we also call it Service Cloud process. Service Cloud is all about case management. There are various other things also, like once a case is created, it goes, you can go ahead and you can create solution for them. Now, what is basically a solution? We also call it solution management. Now, what about this solution thing? What happens over here? We go ahead and we create a solution for every issue that is coming to system. Like for example, I have a case that says that let's assume I'm working for Fitbit, and for Fitbit there is some issue that has come up in the dial, and for this dial issue, this resolution is that if you fit some screw or something like that, it would work. That would be a solution to it. So whenever there is something like that which deals with solution and all, you can always deal with such scenarios. How will you do that? Let's go, for example, for a case. Let's say here is a case. I'm opening any case in particular like this. So I have this case that's about guidance on material wiring and installation. If you look at the bottom, there is a related list for solutions. If I click on view suggested solution, it will take me to this kind of page that finds various solution, the relevant or relevant solution attached to it accordingly. Now what I will do is I'll open it and I'll view how this works. Like I'll view, okay, fine, this is the attachment, these are the cases, this is solution history, this is how the things have to be dealt with. Once I think that yes, it is relevant to this case, I can select this action and I can attach it to my case. So from next time onwards, if someone will face related difficulty, this case will be shown as a solution to them. And they can also notice that this case is attached to this solution. Right? So in this case, in reference of this case, this was fixed with the help of this. Right? So you can have a look at your solutions that are there in your case. Solutions are nothing but something that helps you to resolve a case. To save your time, often customer care centers, they make use of solution. One of the features of solution is that it is inbuilt. It is built within Salesforce. It is inbuilt solution in they're enabled by default. The solutions are enabled by default, and if you want to make use of solution, you don't need to do anything in specific. They come along with the license that you get for Service Cloud. Okay, so you don't need to purchase it as an explicit license. It comes along with the license of the Service Cloud. Similar to this, we have also something that is called knowledge management. Now, what about knowledge management? This is all the part of Service Cloud itself. That's why we are explaining this. Case management was from this to this point. And we are actually understanding now Service Cloud. We are trying to understand what is there in the Service Cloud. Okay. So this is the bold caption here. So we are looking at what is there in the Service Cloud with respect to, We are looking in Service Cloud, and within Service Cloud, we are trying to understand what is case management. We are trying to understand solution, and we are also trying to understand knowledge management. Okay. Now, once it is there, once we have this, okay, let's go back. Yeah, so this was about solutions. If you have any solution, you can attach it to your case and you can review it. And you do not need any explicit license. As I said, it is part of your Service Cloud. If you have procured a license for Service Cloud, you will get it. Now, another thing which is similar to this is called knowledge management. Knowledge management. Now, what about knowledge management? This is not enabled by default. If you check here, if you go to the Salesforce instance and in the quick search, you go to setup and search here for knowledge, you won't get anything. Right? If there is nothing that is present because it's not enabled here by default, you need to enable it. And this is also a featured license, which also means that you need to purchase it if you want to work for it. You will not get it by default. This is a featured license, and this is not available by default. If you want to work with it, you'll have to procure it explicitly. In knowledge management, there are a couple of features of archiving your knowledge base. What it does is again the same thing. If there is a case and if there is some knowledge related to that, some relevant articles or something related to it, you work with knowledge management. You can archive your article, you can publish your article, they can remain in draft state if you want. I mean, the features that are there that are different with respect to this. So the stages could be published, archived, or they can be draft state, any one of these. Also, you can do versioning of your article. You can remember, you can keep their various articles of your choice as a version. So there are certain basic features that are different from that of the solution management in knowledge management here. Now let's see how to do this, how to enable a knowledge management in Salesforce. So to enable this, first of all, you should have a knowledge user. How to get a knowledge user? You need to enable a user as knowledge user. Enable a user as a knowledge user. Let me show you how. So you go to your name, you go to setup, you go to manage users, and you open a user here. Now, if you open a user in particular, like if we click on edit, we can find here something called knowledge user. Just check this checkbox and save, right? Once it is saved, once a user is saved, you can click on the name, you can cross check yes, that knowledge user is now available. Let me take you to a snapshot of this. So if there is something like here, you have to enable this knowledge user. So once the knowledge user is enabled in your system, right? So you need to enable knowledge user. Once this is enabled, you can now go to the system and search here for knowledge. And now you can find here on the left hand side, there is this new thing that has come up. If you remember, it was not there earlier, right? So now if you just go ahead and search for it, you're able to find it. You need to enable knowledge and system, which means that here you can find knowledge settings. If you go to the knowledge settings, you can find here, yes, I understand the impact of knowledge management, and you can check this and enable knowledge management in system. So now once it is enabled, it will save your settings and you'll be redirected to this page. So if you want to allow users to create and edit articles from article tab, now there is something, now here the articles that are created, those are called, earlier it was solution that you create. Now here as a part of knowledge management, you're creating something that is called articles, right? There are articles that are created And for these articles, there will be different property. If you want to create or edit articles, if you want to allow any kind of validation status, you can do that. If you want to allow users to add multimedia content, even that you can do. These things are not possible with data solutions. You can do that only through this articles. Then how do you want to show up your article? To whom should that be accessible? To whether it should be accessible only to internal users, to the customer portal, or to the partner portal. We have different kind of portals in Salesforce that are called customer and the partner portal. So if you want to expose your data through these customer or partner portals, you need to check this checkbox. Likewise, you have something called knowledge one. Now, while you work with any article, if you want to auto search something or some title search or some text search, you can make use of this. By default, subject field is enabled to find your suggested articles. Like if I have a knowledge, if I have created a case in my system, so then whatever subject I will place in here, like the one that I had for solutions, let's do the same thing. Go to the same one, this one. So I have this one here, and I have electrical wiring installation, right? So if I have this, and if I create an article with something, or in fact any keyword from this subject, then only it will be able to find it. If I don't have anything, it won't be able to recognize it. So you need to create articles like that that can search itself on the basis of the keys fields related to the subject. Your language by default is English, but if you want to allow for multiple language support or change the language, you can even do that. If you want to allow users to create article from the case, you'll have to check the checkbox over here. If you want to close the case, if you want to add some Apex code, everything is possible. If you want to create PDF out of it, you need to keep the checkboxes checked over here. If there is something that you want to share with the others through some URL, you can add some selected site URL over there as well. Answer settings. To click on reply and then create an answer for that or some addition to that, you can do that if you check this checkbox here. There is something called chatter question settings. From chatter also, if you want to display some relevant topics, you can add to it. The chatter will be discussing later. There you have something called knowledge statistic setting. So while you create various knowledge articles, at times it may happen that you would like to see how many visitors visited a particular knowledge item or how many users saw that earlier. If you want to create something like that, you can do with the help of this knowledge over here. So there are various things that you can do. You can manage things from here. You can look at the statistics, view articles and all these things. If at all you want to make use of, if you want to expose all these things to users, you can do that with the help of knowledge settings over here. Now, once done, if you want to, let's assume, go back. Let's create a couple of things so that the things are more clear at our end. So go to knowledge, and here you can find something called article types. You can design various type of article types here. Now article type means like different categories. Like if you have a knowledge article relating to hardware devices or software devices, knowledge article relating to some particular area, you can categorize them into various article types. So to create that, you click on new article type. Let's assume I want to create something kind of hardware. So this is hardware, sorry. Hardware related problem. I want to track field history. I can do that. I can save it. So that's my hardware article type that got created, and as a result of creation of this article type, relevant fields also got created by default into the system. Now here, if I want to create one more field, I can do that. Let me create one field, sort of a text area. I'll take it text area rich, and then I'll take next. I'll say here description. I'm creating a description field with 25 lines visible, and I can go next. I can add visibility for the various profiles, add it to the page layout, and save. So like this, I can create as many fields to this as I want. I can create field sets also. Field sets we discussed in brief earlier, that if there are multiple fields and I want to keep them in one place at one standard order, and at the time of deployment I want to reuse of that, I can make use of these field sets. I can choose the various channels through which the data should be displayed, like through internal app, partner, customer portal, or public knowledge base. If I want to choose any channel, I can do that. If I want to place any validation rule, like description cannot be empty, so something like that, I can always do that as well. Then we have page layouts and compact layouts. Compact layouts are for your mobile devices. If you want to modify your page layout, you can do it from here. Communication channel mappings, that is through various channels through which your data will be available to the users. Like if you want to make your data available through email, or different articles, or URL, timestamp, etc. You can pass such information if you want. For now, we have created one article type. Let me create one more. So I'll go to article type. I'll create one more article type, and it will be software. Is it visible now? I'm on new article type page. Okay. Yeah, because, okay, fine. Let me know if it freezes again. So we're on software. We're on softwares. And we can track field history and we can save. So then second article type is created. I'm also adding here another field that's for description. I am again making it of the type rich text. I'm going next, and save. So this is done. My second article type is also created. So that's the second article type. Then you have some article actions. What about article actions? I told you there are different article actions like publish, archive, edit and publish article, delete articles. I can keep them on that. If I want it to be done by some particular user group, I can even choose that. For now, we don't need it, so we won't do that. Then, sorry. Then on the same lines, if we go back to, we have something called data category assignments. Let's have a look at that. What is about data category? So normally, data category actually refers to the different geographic locations. So if you have different geographic locations that you want to expose your data to, you can make use of these assignment over here. Let me create data category here. So we'll click on edit. For now, we cannot see any. We'll have to create some data categories. We'll go to data category mapping. Sorry, we'll have to scroll a little bit here, and here is data categories. You can see data category setup. So you will have to create some data categories. Those, as I told you, they're based on geographical locations. So you can create it from here. Like I can choose APAC. So, and save. I can choose a new one and I will call it EMEA. I want North America. And I can add it as well. Right now you can find all of them are inactivated. If you want to activate them, there is this key sort of thing which is visible. If you click on that, it will be activated. Now if you refresh the page, you'll find them in active category. Now to a major category, if you want to add a subcategory, you can also do that. Like I want to add a subcategory here. Let it refresh completely. Click on new, and let's assume I write here China, and I can save. Okay, wait, it's taking some time. So when I click on, okay, it's taking some time. Once it is saved, then we can even create a child category to it. Like if I want to create a pack followed by China, India, and so on, I can even do that. So it's up to you. It's up to what all categories you want to add. You want yourself to display in your front end, you can add to it. Like here, I am. So we are adding a child category, India. Okay, I didn't save that. Let me save this again. So China, and I'm adding in again India. Let's add this as well and save. So then APAC is having these two categories. Likewise, if I want to add this to something else, I can do that. If you want to delete something, you do this. Now you keep on adding as many categories as you want, as many subcategories if you want. Now, to whatever data you want to make visible to any particular user, you can do that. Like here, you have some default data category visibility setting. You can go to a pack, and if you want some particular group visibility, like all categories should be visible, none should be visible, or some custom should be visible. Like I want only India related categories to be visible. So I'll save this, and then only those categories which are related to India, those will be visible through this category group. Likewise for India and North America, we can do that. Now once it is done, I can go ahead and I can do my mapping in knowledge. So I can go to data category mapping, and I can add the action. Like if case origin equal to, okay, not case origin, let's assume if let me check, where can I add it? Okay, I should have created language thing itself. Let me add a data category group for English. So here, category setup. I'm creating a new group for language. Save. To this, I'm creating English. I'm just adding two. I'm saving it. Now, if I go back to my data category mapping, and if I refresh, I do have language. So, and I do have, okay, this is not reflected here. I'll have to enable it in my settings also, sorry. So we go to data categories again, and we have category visibility. We'll have to edit and allow for this. We'll have to make it visible for all. Now once that is done, I need to go back to my knowledge and category mapping. To this we can choose language. Okay, this is not visible so far. It will take probably some time. Once it is done, you can choose and you can map all the category according to that field. Once that is done, it is saved. You can add as many category mappings as you want, so that whenever this particular field will match related to that, whatever category or data group is present, whatever knowledge articles are present, that will only be visible. Similarly, you do have here assignments. If you want to which group should be used to assign data, you can use that. Likewise, for here, I have added all of them. If you want to add something selectively, you can do that. Once these configurations are done, you can move to this plus sign, and there you'll find something for knowledge. If you click on knowledge, it will take you to a page like this, where you can find that here the status of the articles. Here the IPAC and related articles are given. Different article types that can be created, that's also added. If you want to create an article from here, you can even do that. Like I want to create one for the hardware. And to that hardware issue, I want to add electrical wiring installation. So I'll add this as title. To the description, I'll add the description that is given. Like here. So once it is added, now if you notice here, there are different categories that are displayed. If I want to make it visible to some category, I can choose it here. Likewise, if I want to make it visible over partner portal, customer portal, or public knowledge base, I can do that. If I want to add it for North America, EMEA, I can even modify that thing. Once this is done, I can save it here, and my article will be in draft status. Now draft status means if I go back to the plus sign and if I go to knowledge, I can view only in draft here. So this is yet not published, but it is in the draft status. Now I want to publish this. For this I need to assign it to someone. I can go to assign. I can choose to whom to assign it. I can choose some XYZ date. I can check on this checkbox to send the email and click on OK. The moment I'm done with that, the draft is assigned to this particular user. Now this particular user, when he or she goes into the system, he can check the every detail which is given. If he wants to modify something, he can do that, and he can set it for publication. He can either set it for now, or he or she can set it for later. So this every article that is created here, that has to be reviewed, and after the review is done, it has to be published on the basis of the relevant changes. You can publish it either now or after some time, whatever is the best suited. Like if you want to schedule it for publication at some later time, you can do that. For now, we'll publish it now. We'll click on OK, and now the article is created. So from next time onwards, if you want to view the article, it will be available in your published status of the articles. Going back to the same case that we were dealing with, if you go to the case that we were working with, what you will notice is that the case, if you scroll down, there is nothing for knowledge here. It is because it is not enabled by default. So if you want to enable it, you will have to click on this edit layout, and from here you need to get knowledge. Okay, it's a related list, so go to related list, search for knowledge here, which has got articles. So you'll search articles. Now articles are here. You can now save this thing, and to this article which is given here, if you want to find article, you'll click on the button and will find the relevant article for you. As I told you, it searches on the basis of whatever text is present within this search of the subject. So it will search for the subject related article. If you will open it and view this accordingly, the statistics of it in the backend, that will keep on updating. If you want to attach it to case, or if you want to rate this article, you can even do that. The same feature was not available in your solution. At the same time, if you want to attach it to the case, you just need to click on this button, attach to the case. You can, if you want to detach, you can even do that. But if it is attached, please notice that here now we have this attachment sort of thing available to us. Right? So now this article in particular, this is attached to our set of articles. Once done, we can now go back and cross check. So this is attached. I can go back to the case, and from next time onwards, whenever I'll be looking for it, I can find my article in this area, right? So this entire stuff is about knowledge management in Salesforce. Any questions so far? Any questions, anyone? I'd like you to review this for a while. Please go through this entire thing once again. You will have to first of all enable knowledge management in your system. Do this once. Let me know if you're able to do this. Try to read through the things and try to understand what is each of them is meant for. Let me know if something is not clear. Okay. Have a look. This is from your Service Cloud. It is one of the important aspects of Service Cloud, so you need to be very, very careful while understanding this. Go through this. Let me know if something is not clear. I'll explain that again. There is a question, does every organization uses this feature? The answer is no. That's why it is a featured thing. It is only used by those which are into Service Cloud. Those after sales thing, the support kind of work, they only make use of it. So not everyone will be using it. Only it's only the feature of Service Cloud. So we do not have any question, it seems. Again, if you have anything, if you're not able to do something, do let me know. This is important. Important in the sense it is used in at many places. You can find this. One such example that I can show you is from the Adidas website. So Adidas has got this feature in the Service Cloud. If you want to see this, you can find it on Adidas. You can find it in Dell as well. Let me see if they have not removed the link so far. Then you can see this. Let me just check quickly. So it's help and customer support. Okay. Seems the link is now removed to some other place. Let me just check once. If I'll be able to find it, I'll show you. They had a place from where they can if there is any request like that, like if you want to raise a case, they have created a web to case sort of form here, and through that web to case sort of form, they are collecting the user responses. They are capturing those user responses into the system, and for whatever complaints or solutions they have, they are opening up a knowledge pop-up sort of thing. It peeps into the knowledge of the Adidas Salesforce knowledge management system, and it fetches the various data that is relevant to the subject that you state out there. On the basis of that, it shows us. But right now, it seems they have removed the page. Okay, seems I found it. Just a minute. Okay, seems it's not visible. Just try to fill in the form if this gives you a pop-up. That pop-up is actually from Salesforce if that appears, but it seems that the old page is removed. There it had a proper pop-up that looks into the Salesforce knowledge base management system and it finds out relevant solution with respect to the complaint. And then there are two buttons which are given at the bottom that says, yes, my task is done and I don't want any more insights. So if you say that, the case automatically gets closed into the system, and the case that you had seen, all those cases that you opened actually, all those articles that you opened, that gets automatically attached to the case, which means that they get to know that this particular article was relevant to that particular case. Now, if you say no, my problem is yet not resolved, and if you have looked through any of these cases, again, same thing, it will attach to the case, but this time the case will not get closed. Rather, an auto assignment rule will fire, and this assignment rule will send the case details to a particular sales agent, and he'll be looking forward into this. Right, so this is one of the ways through which this particular, request can be catered to. So any questions so far? Any questions, anyone? Have you understood the process here? I'm not able to show you that link because it seems they have changed it and now they have removed it. So that link itself is not visible. Okay, any other question, anyone? Anything that's not clear? Okay, if this is clear, let's have a look into one more thing that's called chatter. So we have something called chatter. Now, chatter is again a collaborative tool. Chatter is not specific to just Service Cloud, but it's a generic collaborative tool that every other organization can use. Collaborative tool. Now, why do we need Chatter? What is Chatter basically? So if you go here, you can navigate to any of the standard apps like Sales, and you can find here Chatter. Now what Chatter does is once you click on this, this will take you to a page like this. Now if you closely notice, this is your name, your organization name, and this is your name. You can attach your photograph over here. You have this Facebook sort of page where a lot of things are posted. How this got posted, I'll explain. For now, please notice this is something kind of Facebook page that is there. What it does is that if you follow something or if you follow some user, so whatever activity they do, that gets automatically posted here. Like that, if you want to connect with something, you want to, let's say for example, you're following an opportunity. And for that opportunity, you want that whatever progress is happening on that opportunity, you should get to know about it. So what you can do is you can go to this feed area, show feed, and here you can find this follow button. If you click on that button, you start following that opportunity automatically. Now, whenever there will be any change happening over this particular opportunity, like you can see here. Okay, and now if you go back to the chatter, refresh the page. For anything to happen, the field must be available in track feed. So if feed tracking is not enabled, it won't show up. Let me just check. Yeah, so now if you can see, since this feed tracking was enabled for that particular field, we got the changes here in the feed. So every time there is something that you want to follow up, you can always add them as a part of chatter. Moreover, if you want to send, you want to create a group, let's assume, you can even do that. How will you do? So here you have groups on the left hand side. If you want to create a group for your chatter, you can do it from here, new group. You can add your group like opportunity ABC. So ABC opportunity is something that you want to follow, and these are the folks who will be working through that. You will not do an auto archiving if no one is doing any activity over it for 90 days, and you can make it public so that everyone can join in. Private so that only members that can see the update, and for membership anyone needs approval. If you want to allow it for customers or if you want it to be broadcasted only. The choice is yours, and then save. So this opportunity is created. This group is created. Now to this group, if you want to add members, you click over here, add members. You click on the button and you start adding members to this. So this charter expert is now the part of this group. Likewise, if you want to add more, you can keep on adding from here. Okay. So these are the members of the group. If at all you want to address some specific person, you can write @ and then you can start writing the name of that user. And if you can notice, this appears here. This is the test user. You can click on it, and now whatever message you will put here, hello test, please let me know the progress. So what is the advantage? So once done, this test user will be sent an email, and he will be notified that this message has come to you. Let me show you this. So you go to setup, you will go to users page, you will go to this test user login, you'll go to the chatter page of the user. So someone invited you, you saw that message, this guy invited you to that group. And if you notice now, you can see here you got added to this particular group, and now you're the part of this group. So if there is any message that will posted, okay, it didn't appear over here. Log out. Okay, sorry, there is a mistake. Let me log out from here. Let me cross check once again. So go to chatter. Okay, it seems probably it may take some time. We have posted with respect to something. This is as per the group. Let me do one thing. Let me go to feed and let me post from there. Iterate test user. Okay, so whenever you make a post, check this @test user. Here is something called my follower. To whom do you want to send it to? To my follower or to a group? So be very, very sure where you are posting it. Like you are posting it to the followers. Flexible, anything. I mean, I'm just posting. So whatever it is, just share. And now if you go back to the user and if you log in through that, go back to the chatter, all of them will start appearing onto the chatter page. So basically, if there is one user or a whole lot of set of users, you can always attach them to this. You can even create some topics. If you have any topics that in specific you are talking about, you can even view that. Right? And for now, we do not have anything. But as such, if whenever there is something that you want to talk about, you can always do that. You can follow people You can follow topics, you can create groups, add people to the group, and just like Facebook, where you can go ahead and you can configure if you should receive some email for your things or not. You can do the same thing from here to here, this thing as well. You can add a post, you can add a file, you can add an event. If you want any contact, log call, opportunity, add any poll or anything, you can do all these things over here as well. Feed tracking. This was one of the important things. We had seen this earlier as well. If you just search here for feed and tracking, you will find that within Chatter you have something called feed tracking. Or just search here for Chatter. When you search for Chatter, you have various things like Chatter settings, publisher layouts, feed tracking, influence. So influence is how much of control do you want over the activities of other user. You want to calculate that there's so and so number of posts that are sent by so and so, then your ranking for those should change, or you should be notified, or caution should be sent. On the basis of that, you can configure this influence sort of thing. If you don't want anything like that, just search here for Chatter once again. There are various other things as well. Like you have feed tracking. This is important, the feed tracking. So if you want to add a feed for a particular object, like if there is an object called customer, and if there is any change in customer ID or owner or any of the related object, do let me know through the feed. So you need to enable this feed tracking. Once done, then only you'll be receiving any kind of notification about that. So this feed tracking has to be in specific enabled for it. Chatter, again, I'm repeating what it does. It allows you, as a collaborative tool, it allows you to collaborate with the people in your organization without having you to switch in between back and forth in between your mails and all. Every notification, everything, it will be reaching out to you directly, related to some particular, like for example, I want some information to be displayed with respect to this contact. I want to notify you about something. I can straight away write in the feed for this post, and as a result, what will happen? You will be directly notified. So if you write to this contact, @test user, check this, share. And now when this test user will log in, if you go to Chatter, the user with respect to the link is also given, right? So what is basically happening? It helps you to save your time. CRM system is all about saving time, better response, request response management, and all these things. If you want all these things to be at one place, this is what can come to your rescue. So Chatter, as I told you, it's a collaborative tool that helps you to collaborate with the various folks in your organization. If you want to navigate to Chatter, there are a few features like feed tracking, influence, group creation that you need to know. Influence, group creation, follow user, follow group, or post. These are the things that you need to know about. Well, not post, but basically record. You can always reply on top of this. This is more like your FB page, what you have. Same thing, but in a better way, in a more productive manner, you can make use of this. So that's what is about it. Any questions, anyone? Any questions here? We have seen so far case management, solution management, knowledge management, and we looked into Chatter as well. Chatter is a tool that is available across all these platforms. I mean, even if it is Sales Cloud or Service Cloud, you'll be looking into it. That's why I have specifically mentioned about it.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.